I want you to look for something. And what would that be? Me, my true self. What the hell just happened?
A girl says she wants me to look for her, then disappears. You can't be serious. She wasn't asking to play hide and seek, was she? Honestly, I just don't understand young women these days. Since there's no point in wasting time pondering over the girl's parting words, I decide to go back to Yukari's request. Wah! I am abruptly greeted with a cute scream. Huh? I look down at my feet, where the voice originated. Nice panty shot. Ouch. A girl is sitting on the floor. Who are you? I've never seen her before. That is... welcome. She bows while still seated. Judging by the tray and glasses rolling around on the floor, she must have fallen around here. Are you okay? I apologize. I extend a hand and help her up. She gathers up the various scattered objects. Is something wrong? You must be the new employee. Now that I think back, I remember Kyoko mentioning her. Yes, my name is Amenia Hatsune. It's very nice to meet you. I know that one because of Miku, but that one kind of threw me off a little bit. Don't worry about it. Yeah, likewise. She bows so deeply that I find myself bowing in response. Here's your seat, sir. Thanks. After being seated at the counter, I finally take a breath. It seems like an entirely different place. I've never really gotten this kind of service from you before. You're a special case, Tokisaka-kun. I take proper care of the other customers. Kyoko glares at me from behind the counter. Other customers? I crane my neck to survey the surroundings. Nobody's around except for Hatsune, who's busy cleaning. It just happens to be empty right now. Alright, I get it. If it were always like this, she wouldn't be able to hire a new employee, no matter how much her acquaintance pestered her. Is coffee fine? Yeah. Some beans too, please. Oh, Yukari-chan set you to run errands? Kyoko laughs as she brings out the jar of coffee beans. You know, I've got some nice Brazilian bourbon seeds today. Aren't those expensive? I remember hearing something to that effect. But so delicious. Ignoring my words, Kyoko starts weighing out the dark beans. Please, make them cheap for me. Her hand stops. Well then, I'll give you a bit less, and a discount besides. Thanks. That helps. It's gotta be better than cheap, bitter beans. So, you're tight with your finances when you're on a break from detective work? No, that's not what I mean. You're a detective? My sentence is interrupted by a yelp from Hatsune behind me. Hatsune-chan, aren't you being rude to the customer? Although, in Tokisaka-kun's case, that's fine. Kyoko just scolded Hatsune. I think. I'm sorry. Are detectives really so rare? I direct this to Hatsune, who looks like she's trying her best to disappear. No, that's not it. A detective from Ueno helped me once. Ueno. Ah, that guy, eh? It might just be coincidence, but I happen to know a detective who's based in Ueno. He taught me a lot of things. A lot of things, eh? I can picture plenty of things, but none of them are good. If it's the guy I'm thinking of, it's entirely possible. He taught me how to write. Hatsune seems to blush faintly. I see, so that's what it was. No, I know this guy. He wouldn't do anything like that for free. That's not true at all. He was really kind to me. Hatsune completely missed my joke. Is that the part of him that you fell in love with? Fell in love? That's not it. Tokisaka-kun, you shouldn't tease her so much. Seeing the Hatsune started staring at the floor and blushing furiously, Kyoko comes to her rescue. I hadn't really intended to go that far, so this gives me a good opportunity to end the conversation. She's a bit sheltered, you see. Not you too, Kyoko-san. Jeez. Hatsune turns away, puffing out her cheeks in a mock pout. Even so, she's an acquaintance of his, is she? Where did you meet that guy? He was renting a room from a store I used to work at. Store? Let's see. The store in Ueno, where that guy always stirred up trouble. I'm certain it was Yuki Shiryo in the red light district. Tokisaka-kun. Kyoko's hand clamps down on my arm. I realize I've gone too far. Hatsune's shameless expression crumples even further. I see. So she was... I was a prostitute. Damn. She lifts her head and looks me straight in the eye. But you see, Tokisaka-kun, she only helped out. She never actually did any. Kyoko speaks up for Hatsune, clasping the girl's shoulders. Even with her resolute expression, Hatsune still looks like she might burst into tears at any moment. I lay my hand gently on her head. You've been brought up by some fine people. Huh? I can tell just by looking in your eyes. No matter what job you have, you do it with pride, right? There's something you learn from the people around you. Working in the red light district can't be easy, even if you're not offering any services. I can sense the indomitable spirit that kept her going through that. Right. Even after those grisly murders. Hey, how should I say this? The mistress there. Ujaku-sama. Her voice is a quiet whisper. Right. Ujaku-san, I really owe her a lot. Of course, it was for her knowledge on the underworld. I didn't partake of her other wares. After what happened 5 years ago, I haven't had any word from her. After the Yukishiro closed, Ujaku-sama adopted me as a foster daughter. I see. That's why you're Emiya. That's good enough. I don't know the mistress's real name, but I can at least guess that it has the character for Rain in it from Ujaka. Yes, right now, she's my stepmother. Looks like you met a wonderful person. After giving her head a final pat, I suddenly feel intensely awkward and pick up my cup from the counter. The coffee's gone tepid. That means cold. Thank you, Tokisaka-kun. Or at least not hot. Kyoko whispers softly into my ear. I didn't do anything, honestly. I went too far. All I did was showing you guys a detective's nature. But Hasune's the one who really deserves an apology. I face her. Our eyes meet. Ah. I'm going back to cleaning. At last, Hatsune breaks eye contact and turns away, tossing her shoulder-length hair. Oh my, it looks like Hasune-chan's embarrassed. A weary smile on her face, Kyoko tops off my cup with hot coffee. As I return home from Moon World, the sun is already starting to set in the western sky. Ugh, it's freezing. That's March weather for you. Near sunset, the temperature suddenly drops. Huddling for warmth, I quickly enter the house. At the door is a pair of ridiculously oversized shoes, so I expect something is up. I didn't know whether anyone would come here after reading the note I left at my office, but it looks like someone actually did. Be that as it may, this is way too soon. Hey, Reiji. Sorry to intrude. The man on my sofa sets down the coffee he's been sipping and turns to greet me. What the hell are you doing here, Uzumi? My bad. Uzumi Kyuso is an old friend. We worked together at the same place in the past. I quit, but this guy still works there. In other words, he's an active duty police officer. I came to say hello. Since you weren't at your office, I had to go all the way through that place to get here, you bastard. It isn't that much further than Shinjuku. Besides, don't you hang out at Kichijoki-ji around the clock anyway? I take a seat on the sofa, waving off his complaint. Welcome back, brother. As Yukari enters the kitchen, I hand her the bag of coffee. Why'd you let this guy into the house? It's cold. I couldn't very well let him wait outside, could I? Yukari sets a steaming cup of coffee in front of me. Besides, Uzumi-san's here for business. You should listen to what he has to say. You've got some good manners, unlike your older brother. Oh, shut up. Well, what have you got? I bring my coffee to my mouth and face him. He's not the sort who'd come all the way here without some important business. It's gotta be some pain in the ass waste of time, right? I'll at least hear you out, so start talking. It's right up your alley. I'll leave you two alone. Sensing the change in the atmosphere, Yukari bows to Uzumi and leaves the room. A few days ago, a disembodied female corpse was discovered in Inokashira Park. Right up my alley, he says. I place a cigarette between my lips and light it. Uzumi follows my lead and does the same. And there's one more thing. My hand freezes in the midst of handing him match. The day before yesterday, another female corpse was discovered at Tama Cemetery in Fuchu. Any connection? I don't hesitate. None. The MO was completely different. Uzumi finally lights his cigarette. The corpse at Inokashira Park had everything but the torso, both arms and legs, as well as the head. But the one at Tama Cemetery was pretty much whole, but the method of disposal was bizarre, to say the least. How so? Curiosity's got my blood pumping. He's told me of this, fully aware of what makes me tick. Knowing each other for such a long time isn't always a good thing. It was buried in the graveyard. That in itself isn't so unusual. But one of the feet had been lit on fire. The burning cigarette crackles quietly. Do you suppose it's an allusion to something? I knew you'd take the bait. Well, as of now, we still don't know anything. Also, that's right. I recall her left arm was amputated as well. Just one? Yeah, it wasn't found in the vicinity. I stub my cigarette out and fold my arms. 2 murder cases. It'd be unreasonable to conclude that it's a serial murder at this point. In order to prove that, they'd have to narrow the scope of the investigation, which would be impossible. I want to leave you in charge of the Thomas Cemetery case. I'm pretty short-handed here. Hold on, Uzumi. I haven't said whether I'm going to take it or not. But you are, aren't you? You can't possibly refuse after hearing about a murder. That's not true. I deny it, unconvincingly. I have no intention of refusing. Inside my head, I'm already thinking about how to proceed with the investigation. We'll start tomorrow. I'm counting on you. Right. Nevertheless, it's been a while since the last ghastly case like this. My interest stems from the case that happened 6 years ago now. That time, I wasn't able to catch the killer in the end. This time, I'll get him. For the victim's sake, and for the sake of the people left behind.
Watch me.